guys are probably really scared right now, and I understand that completely. But I get the better of the deal, and even though it's 3 versus 2, you guys are outnumbered because we're better than you guys. Yeah, we are. We're legends in our own mind compared to you guys. Even though you guys got the egos, we have got the wrestling skill. And this guy right here, we're the Space Cowboys.
All right, good evening, people. That little video clip is courtesy of DM Foss. I want to thank him for that. The audio is a little choppy, but it's a video from the 80s. I mean, what are you going to do? But, I like it, so I used it. Um, welcome to this week's episode of The Wrestling Show, if you couldn't gather from that little intro. Tonight, we have with us, as always, Mr. David Bowling, the Kingpin himself. How are you?
Good evening, everyone.
Next, guy who hasn't been on the show for a little while, Mr. Buck Stanley, Governor Grandpa. How are you tonight, Buck?
Doing good. How's everybody doing?
Not too bad. Yeah, the big news this week. Sure, MJK Joe may have heard. I don't know if you two have or not. WWE's at it again. Budget cuts. This time they cut 18 wrestlers from the roster and upwards of 10 people from their office staff, including their chief financial officer. They were budget cuts, like I said, but the cuts came the same day that Biden announced that he is going to be implementing a vaccine mandate through OSHA, and at least a few of them have been, the talent anyway that were released, have been confirmed to not be vaccinated, and among those who are refusing to be vaccinated. If you know what was going on with the mandate, that's at least $14,000 fine per person who is not vaccinated by January 4th on the company that has them under their employ. And it doesn't matter if they're actual employees of the company or, like WWE does it, independent contractors. If they are working for the company, they have to be vaccinated. And if they're not, at least 14,000. A company the size of WWE with their annual income, it could be as much as 700,000 per person, depending on what goes on in Congress with their one bill that they're trying to push through, which would increase the penalties. So if it's a budget cut, that could be why. That could be what they're cutting, is the chance of getting those penalties. For those of you who may be wondering who was cut, I have a story here from Sports Illustrated. I'll just read off the names. I'm not going to read the whole thing, so I'm not going to put the article up on screen. But the top of the list, the 3 biggest names on the list are former NXT champions Keith Lee, who also was simultaneously the NXT North American champion, and Karrion Kross, and former Raw Women's Champion Nia Jax, who just recently was one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions. And you got a few other guys and girls that were released. Grand Metalik, Lindsay Dorado, Mia Yim, Ava Marie, Harry Smith, who is the son of Davy Boy Smith of British Bulldogs fame, P. Fab, who was a member of a roster faction that had just been called up to SmackDown from NXT. And there's Frankie Monet, Ember Moon, Scarlett, who is either the fiance or wife of Karrion Kross, Oni Lorcan, who was fairly recently one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, Trey Baxter, Jesse Kamea, Zayda Ramir, Katrina Cortez, and Jeet Rama. Most of them were NXT people, with 3 of them, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 of them were on the main roster, and the rest were all NXT people. So, yeah, again, I just find it funny that the day Biden announces that there's going to be a vaccine mandate and the penalties for exceeding that mandate, they lost their jobs. Either of you have any thoughts on this one?
Go ahead, Buck.
I was trying to be nice and try to keep it civilized, but that shit got to stop. Shit just ain't right. I thought all this shit supposed to be volunteer. Now they're trying to force it on you and shit.
Oh, well, the mandate gets worse because right now we're in a comment period, and depending on what happens with that comment period, they're going to take away the limitation on where it's limited to only companies that have 100 employees or more. So that means everybody who employs even one person will be subject to the fines if their one single employee isn't vaccinated.
Nah, it's just a bunch of bullshit.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the big story this week. It kind of overshadowed everything else that's been going on. I really don't even know if there's any other big stories this week. There really weren't any real storyline advancements that went on. Now, they may have found. I take that back. AEW may have found a way to get me to root for CM Punk in a match.
Gunpowder Beauty is here, ma'am.
Yeah, Evening Gunpowder.
Did you read that article that MK Joe just linked to? Do you know what
Well,
that's about?
it's the same. He just put the list of the wrestlers out there. I
Oh,
had,
that's
yeah.
just the link from what you were reading.
Well, that's a different source, but it's going to be the same list.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you would hope that a big mega corporation would have some stones and they'd stand up to it, but none of them are going to. It's going to come down to you sitting across the dinner table from your wife, making some hard decisions and getting crushed either way, because nobody's going to take your side. Nobody. None of these all these big companies are going to fold. All these people out here talking all this tough stuff, they are already either folded already and are just against the mandate, even though they're vaccinated, because they did their research. And yeah, I did do the air quotes both those times that I paused like that. Uh, it's just everything else, just like anything else, it's gonna come down. What are you gonna do? Most people are gonna fold. Now, preface. Let me add to that. Some of those most people are gonna fold under extreme pressure, but most people ultimately are gonna fold.
Yeah, and play devil's advocate here. Let's not forget Vince McMahon and the WWE in general, the corporate wise, not necessarily the talent wise, but corporate wise, were big sponsors of Donald Trump during both his election runs. I mean, Vince McMahon's wife was in his cabinet, so how much of that possibly plays into it too?
I mean, that's where I love it when people call me, like, tell me I'm stuck to Donald Trump's butt or whatever, because I say I like the guy and I like making memes about him. But he's responsible. Donald Trump's just as guilty as Dr. Fauci. Like him or not, you want to play 75D chess, and he knew that this was going to happen, so he was doing his best to alter this and get this information. All that cloak and dagger stuff that people like to make up. One way or the other, Donald Trump's hands are as bloody and filthy with this COVID nonsense as everybody else. And he's feeling. He goes to these rallies and he starts talking about getting vaccinated, and people boo him at his own rallies.
Mm-hmm. My point was more of how much of it's were they worried that the government might use this as retaliation for their support of Trump.
Well, they know
Because
that.
remember,
I mean,
yeah,
come on, they
I
know
mean,
that.
yeah,
That's a given.
yeah. But that's all. That's all my point was. Especially, I mean, Trump is still boogeyman number one to the left. So they're going after. They're still trying to go after his supporters. So I mean, this will be an easy way for them to get at the WWE and Vince McMahon and Linda McMahon. If you stop and think about it. So I'm wondering how much of that possibly played into it from the double advocate side. But yeah, I definitely think that part of this, if it's budget, that could be where the budget comes in when they're looking at this. We got 18 people here that aren't possibly 18, I should say, people here who aren't vaccinated, and they're telling us up to $700,000 per person. That's a lot of money. Even I mean, you figure they're bringing in 200 million per quarter, but that's before all expenses. So you take away expenses, say half to 2/3 of that is expenses, and you're adding another. Let's see, do the math here real quick. Where's come on? The hell? There we go. 700,000.
In order for it to be like a anti-Trump thing, you'd have to look at the actual text of whatever mandate is going to be put down or was put down to find out about the people who are exempt. And if you're looking at, Hillary Clinton owns WCW and they're exempt, but Vince McMahon owns the WWE, so he's not exempt. Then you could start putting those, but it'd be hard to. You'd have to have some type of other angles, I guess you could say, in order to say it was anti-Trump because of McMahon.
Anyway, that for WWE, that would be another $12,600,000 on top of whatever their usual operating expenses are. And then you got on top of the operating expenses, you have the salaries for various people. People look at this. This is what always gets me. People, I don't that comment on these things. I don't think they understand how business operates because they always act like, well, they're bringing in this much money per quarter. Yeah, and how much are they having to shell out in the process? Because you got advertising, rental on the different facilities, the salaries for their actual employees, salaries for their talent who are for them are just they're under contract type contracts where they're not technically employees but they're contracted workers. Um, there's travel arrangements, having to ship equipment from one place to another. So I mean, it's people don't look at those things. They think that because they say this much money came into the company that it's all profit. That profit's got to be reinvested. It doesn't all go into Vince McMahon's pocket. You know what I mean? But you listen to some of these wrestling commentators, and you think it was all pure profit, and it's not.
Well, a lot of people are idiots, and there's very few people who can look at everything objectively. I mean, not just natural biases that get in the way, whether it's intentional or unintentional. So there's not very many people that are just going to be straight up purely objective when they're evaluating something.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
I mean, of course, there's the ignorant. I mean, we're all dudes. We've all heard our friends say, "I'm going to open my own business, so I don't got to work for the man." We're like, well, what about all your customers and all your other stuff that you're going to have to do when you own your own business? People just
Hmm.
don't think about that kind of stuff.
No. And heck, we didn't even cover taxes and stuff that WWE has to pay on all that money that they bring in too.
Well, yeah,
Corporate
plus they
taxes and
got
all that.
accountants and secretaries and advertising guys and the guy who builds the website and the person who does all the designs for the new shirts and somebody who's developing the new belt, somebody who's putting the ring together, and somebody who's booking the next stadium. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in a company as big as which is WWE.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I pretty much covered that under all the employees, but yeah, you divided it up more than I did. But yeah, I mean, there's hundreds of people that work for your WWE. So I mean, and to hold the company responsible for what the employees do and the choices they make is asinine. They're wanting the companies to be the vaccine police because they themselves don't have the ability to do it.
They've already had great success. The masks. They knew they couldn't mandate people to wear masks, so they made it. In not every state, in some states they just did whatever they wanted, but like Maryland itself, they couldn't force you to wear a mask outside. But what they could do is fine the store that let you in without a mask on.
Hey, it
So a
goes to
lot
the
of
health
people put
department.
the mask on because they didn't want their favorite Dunkin' Donuts clerks to get fined.
Yeah, they were finding them through the health departments.
So I mean, they've already laid it out how they're going to do it. This is the punishment. I warned everybody. I warned everybody over and over again, and nobody paid any attention to it. I said, whether it be 4 years or whether it be 8 years, we need to plan for what we're going to do when Donald Trump is gone. Everybody said, shut up. It's stupid. I said, they're going to get revenge. When Donald Trump is gone, whether it's 4 years or whether it's 8 years, the Republicans, everybody in D.C., all of our local governments, everybody's going to get revenge. That's what they're doing right now. This is a ritual of humiliation. This is the bully sitting on your chest, smacking you in the face, saying, sweet little baby, and teasing you and stuff while he's tapping you in the face because you can't get up. They're just rubbing it in our faces.
Yeah, pretty much sums it up. What about you, Bug? Any more thoughts on this one?
Now I'm sitting over here biting my tongue now.
So,
Carroll County is where you should go, MK Joe. It's not far away if you got some type of business around there. Uh, it's a lot cheaper, a lot better places, a lot better people, a lot better rules and restrictions. Gun type pacifists here. But check out Carroll County, man. Not as much Frederick County. I mean, Frederick's all right if you want to go further out to like Washington and get closer to Rich and stuff like that. That's cool. But if you're trying to stay kind of local to where you are now, Carroll County's the place you need to look, brother.
oh hell, if you want to move farther this way, you might as well just cross the border.
Yeah, there's so many places in Maryland that are right on the borderline. I mean, you can be in and out.
Yeah, my wife. We live here. My wife works in Maryland, so I mean that if you're worried about job wise, you can always find a job in Maryland if you can't find one in West Virginia. That's what a lot of people here do. They work either in Maryland or Virginia.
All right, yeah, I see. If you go to the Eastern Shore, let me know. I know a bunch of people out that way, some good gun channels type of people, and I'll be able to hook you up with them.
CM Punk thing. They're putting CM Punk against a wrestler that I can't stand even more than CM Punk, and that's Eddie Kingston.
Is this like a pay-per-view match?
Yeah, it's going to be at Full Gear next weekend, which I do not have the money to rent, so we're not going to be able to do a live stream on that one.
Yeah, we can't buy all of them. We
No.
could make those special occasion type shows.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind. I like for the next SummerSlam or I don't know, whatever. The biggest one that comes up next.
The biggest one coming up next is Survivor Series later on this month.
Yeah, I mean maybe we could look into that. If I got the money, I'll send it to you or whatever.
Well, we can do that on Peacock.
Yeah, but you get what I mean. Like the
Yeah.
pay-per-view should be like the big special event, so we
Hey,
can.
you paid for the last one. I got the next one.
Yeah, the AEW show is coming up. Remember, AEW only does so many pay-per-views per year. But I don't have the money for that, and I'm not expecting you guys on this short of notice to try and pay for it either. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if it's something special, I don't care about that. But if it's just a regular television show that you got to
No.
pay for, then I mean, because you're the expert, whether it's worth buying
Yeah,
or not.
this is one of the big shows every year. This is it's Full Gear. You got Kenny Omega defending against Adam Page, which is a big storyline that we've talked about before. That's the storyline that they've been building since they were still wrestling for New Japan.
And when is that?
Saturday.
Today?
No, next Saturday.
Oh, all right, man. If you want to get that going on, I'll pay for that, man. If it's something special, like I said, you're the expert. So if it's something worth buying that I can't just see on regular TV any other week, then let's do it. If it's just a regular old match, then we'll wait till the next big one.
No, this is the big one. They're you got that. They're going to crown. I believe they're crowning the first TBS, the women's TBS champion, which is going to be their women's secondary title.
All right, Buck. Here's the deal. You think we should do it, Buck? Does this sound like something good to you?
Yeah, it sounds good, but my problem is I'm going to be in Tulsa next weekend.
Yeah, he's going to be in Tulsa. That's another thing I was taking into consideration.
Was that Wanamaker next weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind then. Never mind.
Yeah, that I knew there was something else too that I was just like drawing a blank on. There's something else next weekend. What is it? And then he said, "Yeah, that's what that was the other reason why I didn't."
Well, if you want to sit at your crib and watch it, I'll send you the loot and you can watch it, man. I don't care.
Oh no, I'm not worried about that.
It all depends on how much money. Shit, I can split it with you. And I could probably jump in probably Saturday night or something.
No, Buck, I don't want you to
Yeah.
pay for something and then not be guaranteed to be able to watch. You know what I mean?
Hell, I can watch it sometime or another. Or you
Don't
can tell me
forget-
about it.
Don't forget to remind them out in Wanamaker, every second matters pictures.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to tell everybody, come on and watch that Rasslin show on Saturday night. Since they ain't doing nothing.
You guys are probably gonna be doing something. You'll be going to dinner or something.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
taking really cool every second matters pictures.
Hey, there's supposed to be a few people down there this time I haven't met.
That's
I
what I'm
think
saying.
C4 Defense is going to be down there.
Yeah.
TJ.
Yes. Sarge, Obi, Snob, Gary,
I
TJ,
already met them.
Clover, Ghost, I believe is going to be there.
Yeah,
well.
that's who I'm riding with. I hope it's going to be there. Shit.
Yeah, or you're going to be walking.
Who is TJ?
No,
TJ Persnickety.
Who
Or
is that?
Persicchetti.
he's on
Oh,
Gear
the guy
Report.
from the chat room?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen his name before. Okay.
Yeah, he's from Gear Reports.
Yeah. Weston Probst.
Yeah, I met him
38
last
Super,
year.
38 Super Partisan. Yeah, there's a bunch of people going to be there.
Sounds like a pretty good crowd.
One of these times, Kingpin, we got to go.
Yeah,
Oh,
y'all
man,
need
yeah,
to.
I'm not wearing a mask or getting vaccinated to do it.
No, you don't have to.
Me neither.
Oklahoma, man, you don't have to.
Yeah,
But
I mean, we could get out there one of these times. I mean,
yeah, you'd have to drive.
I don't care. We can rent a car.
Yeah, because I'm not allowed. So yeah, and hey, MKJF can go too. You know?
Well, see that could be a plan. You're better at the map than me from where you live at, but I'm pretty sure that I'm right. MK Joe can meet me at my house.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him will drive to your house.
Uh huh.
In the meantime, you and your wife will have rented a car and have that car at your house. So when
That's
I
if
get
you
to
can
your
rent a
house,
car. The only car rental places around here, there's nothing available.
build one. Come
Build
on,
one.
Rick, you're an American, dude. You're just gonna lay down and take it.
How am I going to build a rental car, Casey?
You could build at first. You'd build a dealership, duh, and then you go out in the parking lot and just get one.
Yeah, but you drive by like the Enterprise that's right up the street. Their parking lot is always empty. They have nothing
Well,
available.
that's why we're gonna plan for it a
I
couple
know,
months in advance.
I know, but all I'm saying is it's hard to get a rental car right now.
But
The
that's
only
why
thing
we.
you got to do, Rich, is go down to your local Walmart, cover their sign up, put your sign up, says Rich's Rentals.
There you go.
Problem solved.
Uh-huh.
You rent every car out there. You didn't like that idea?
Uh, MKGO is saying a van or RV.
It
Man,
does make sense, man. I don't know how big he is, but I'm 6'2", but I'm skinny, so I take up a lot of room, but not a lot of room,
hmm
and I can drive straight. You guys don't have to worry about driving. I got the wheel. So it just depends on how much stretching you guys need to do. And I don't know how big MK Joe is.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, you know how big I am. I mean, we've been in the same place multiple times now.
Yeah.
How much would it cost to? We could rent a U-Haul, turn it back into an RV. Yeah, he says he's not a large person.
Perfect. And no offense, I don't know you, MK Joe, so most likely I'm just going to hold the wheel. You can ride shotgun and switch back and forth with Rich.
So when do we want to do this? April? Because
Eh,
anyway, no way we're going to be able to do it next weekend.
No, no. I mean, I'm thinking either April or next November.
hmm
Because you got to think about it. You're still buying a house, dude.
Well, we bought the house, you know. The house,
Right. Yeah, you think your money you think
yeah, I
that
know.
burning in your wallet's ending now? It's just getting started, brother.
Hell yeah, it
Oh,
is.
I'm well aware. That's what I was trying to tell my wife. I was like, you realize what goes into owning a house, right? She's like, well, our mortgage is going to be less than our rent. Yeah, and if something breaks, we have to pay for it now. I don't think she fully comprehends that.
See, MK Joe's got the good idea. Aim for November 2022.
Yeah,
So that'd be next November.
yeah, next November.
Yeah, this April. I don't think I'm going this April.
Plus, you got to think about it. November around here sucks, and November in Tulsa might be a little bit warmer.
Mm-mm.
I don't know where Tulsa. I think it might be colder actually.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be like mid 50s next week.
that's about what it's going to be here next weekend.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not going to be any different.
Whenever I think of Tulsa, I think more of the New Mexico area. I keep
But
forgetting that Tulsa's like the dead center of the country.
yeah, the shit's pretty flat, so it's kind of windy out there a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Cycle Camp was complaining the one year that he went because he left Connecticut and it was sunny. He gets to Oklahoma and it's cold and snowing.
Dude, my first time going to California, it was like I used to have to go every January. Or was it December? It's either January or December. I think it was January. And right after the Golden Globes. So whenever, because we stayed in the same hotel as the Golden Globes people did. And the first time I got out there, when I left, I was freezing because I wore shorts and a t-shirt and a hoodie, and just I am going to California. And I got out there, and it was cold, cold, cold. California sucks.
Oh man. What sucked was we went down to Florida when I think I was in 8th grade at the time because my brother had leukemia. He made a wish to make a wish, and we went down to Disney World. And it was nice and sunny and warm down there in Orlando. We get back up to Pittsburgh. It was cold as all goddamn hell. We get off the plane. We're wearing shorts. The exit the airport is like, oh my god, it's cold out here. That was a shock to the system.
Every time I'd come back to Maryland, there'd be snow on the ground, and it'd actually be warmer. I'd be like, it sucks that there's 2 feet of snow on the ground, but at least it's not as cold as it was in California.
What part of California were you in?
Beverly Hills.
Yeah, it's a constant wind blowing down there.
And it's
From the
beautiful, but
water.
I
Yeah.
walked out to the beach and walked all around California, like the area that I could walk to each night. So it was a pretty nice little area, but I've never been a big fan of California. Arizona is much more my speed.
I've been once, and once was enough.
What is it that you like about the Tulsa thing there, Buck? Is it just hanging out with the people, or do you like the show, or what?
A little bit of both. Meeting new people and guns out the ass. Whew, Lordy. Every time you turn around, you got guns.
Nice. How
Some
many
of them
times have
really
you been now?
expensive. This here would be my second time. But like I was telling Trey last time, I didn't know what to expect last time I went. So I didn't do much video and anything. But I'm going to do some more this year
You,
because
you
I know
probably
what's going on.
you probably weren't expecting $35,000 price tag on a liver gun.
Shit, no, that about knocked me off my feet.
What
MK Joe wanted to know, Buck, are there any good deals at the show?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, there can be. I mean, if you go
You
back,
got to look, though.
yeah, if you go back and watch video from a couple years ago, Star Snoop Dogg got an AR-15 for like $150.
Yeah, the Stormtrooper one.
Yeah,
Yeah, the best way to do it is go in there and look at them Saturday and show interest, and then come back talk to them Sunday about 12. That's when everybody starts packing up. Yeah, I'm sure they don't want to carry the shit home.
Have you ever heard of that Shonas gun show that they have down at the where is it? Somewhere in Virginia. What's the Dulles Center thing?
yeah, Dollar Center, and that's down there, Dollar Center International.
Yeah,
Isn't
that's
it?
down in D.C. area.
MK Joe, no. The one they play, they advertise it on the radio all the time. MK Joe, and they advertise it as the nation's biggest gun show or the nation's gun show. Uh, Dulles something I can't think of the thing, and they play it constantly on the radio.
Yeah, it's the same place where they always had those electronic shows and crap.
Yeah, that place. Have you ever been to that one, Rich?
No, I haven't, but I'll tell you right now, it's nowhere near as big as Tulsa.
Hell no.
He said, I haven't heard. He's heard of it, but he's never been there yet either. That's just like I said, they play it on a commercial all the time, and they advertise it as the nation's gun show. And I guess
Somebody
it's just
lying.
because they're, trying to, they're near DC, so it's the nation's gun show.
Mm-hmm. The building that the Tulsa Gun Show is in the winter, they do sprint car races in that building. That's how big the building is.
No, it's 11 acres inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a massive building.
What Chloe and them say? If you want to see every booth in there, you got like about what,
6 seconds.
5 to 6
Yeah,
seconds to
yeah,
each
somewhere around
booth
there. Yeah,
if you want to see
yeah. It's like Disney
everything in it.
World. If you want to see everything, you stop. You ride each ride for 6 seconds, and then you jump off while it's still in motion. Otherwise, you're not hitting every ride in Disney World in a week. It's impossible.
Yeah, Trey was showing me around last year, and I know we've been down the same aisles, a couple times. But every time I went, I spotted something new. Every time I went. So it ain't like going to them seeing the same stuff.
It's Chantilly, Virginia, the Dulles Expo Center.
Yeah. I wonder how
I think
many people are going to be there. They're going to be in Tulsa this weekend coming up.
I've
You know,
heard of that dude that hates kids talking about going down there, and the 88, 88, 88, 88 guy talking about being at this Virginia one before, like way, way long time ago.
you'll get vendors or people that are selling stuff. They'll go from one gun show to another gun show to another gun show. That's all. That's how they make their living. So I'm just curious how many of them are going to be at the Dallas one that are going to be at Tulsa next weekend.
I'm not a big fan of gun shows, just to be completely open. I think they're kind of stupid. What happens when I go to a local gun store to buy a rifle? I usually get a delay, which runs out in 7 days or something like that. What happens when I go to a gun show and try to buy a rifle and I get a delay? And the guy's from Omaha.
That's when you find them private dealers.
Yeah, that one I couldn't tell you. Never had to deal with that, so I don't know. I
Plus,
had no
I
idea.
mean, I'm not ashamed to admit I don't know a whole lot about guns anyway. So buying a gun at a gun show, I'm probably the guy that gets ripped off.
Well, that's why you have somebody like me with you.
Well, I do. Usually now when I go to a gun show, I go with my gun dudes, and they know a bunch of stuff, so they're gonna watch out. Plus, the only thing I ever buy there is ammo, and I know enough about ammo to not get ripped off, or magazines. It's just like if I see an AR-15 and it's overpriced, I know that. But like if I was gonna get an M1A or some of the other stuff that you guys like, that you need to kind of know what you're like. If I want an AK and I wanted a specific one, not some junk one that some guy put together and told me was a Russian or something like that. I'd end up screwing that up.
Pacifist says he just gets sick now going to gun shows. He should have bought all the milsurps back in the day. Man, I wish I had the money to buy all those milsurps back in the day.
And we have estate sales and stuff around here all the time, and there's always old guns there. But I don't know enough to bid on one. I don't really want to spend $100 on $100 gun.
hmm Well, see if they'll let you take pictures. And you can always text me pictures, and I can.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, last year they had a SKS for $1,200.
Depending on what one it is, yeah, they can be that expensive.
See, I wouldn't
No,
know the difference. I wouldn't know the difference. Somebody
these
would
things
hand
here
me,
were like the $200 models. So
yeah,
I got
somebody
one.
would hand me the $200 one and say it's the $1,600 one, and I couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, when it comes to SKS, the ones that are going to be the most expensive are going to be the North Korean and Vietnamese because there's so damn few of them in the country, and then the Albanian because there were so few of them made to begin with. In the Albanian, if I showed you a picture of it, you wouldn't mistake that thing for another one because it's how you saw my SKS. You know how the front end, the fore end stops at a certain point. The Armenian one, or not, or the Albanian, excuse me, that continues up farther. It actually covers up the entire gas block and everything. Whereas every other SKS the handguard stops before you get to the gas block, like on an AK. How the AK, you know what I'm talking about. So that's how you can tell right away if it's an Albanian or not. If it goes all the way up, the handguard goes all the way up to the gas block. That is a very rare SKS. Let's see if I can find a picture.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
And personally, I think the Albanian ones are the coolest looking ones. Yeah, here we are. Move back over here. Share screen. Yeah, see him? You see what I'm talking about? How the upper handguard goes all the way to the gas tube on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Albanian. They're the only SKS that's made like that. All the other ones stop like right here.
All right.
They put that little bit of extra wood on theirs. And their magazine shaped a little different too, like right here. See how that's curved? Most of them just go straight up. It doesn't curve like that. So that's how you can tell if it's an Albanian or not. It's the hand art right there on top of the gas tube. The stock extends a little bit farther too, I think. I'm trying to remember. And then the magazine, the way the magazine's shaped.
And what are they
And
chambered in?
it's a 7.62 by 39.
All right.
And then if you look up here on the bolt, see where the charging handle is? On this one, it's like a flat kind of metal that sticks out, whereas on most other SKSs, it's like a knob.
So why do people like these guns for?
This one, because it's highly collectible.
But I mean, that's what I mean. Like the SKS line, people are generally buying for the collectability and the nostalgia.
Well, when it comes to the Albanian, the North Korean, and the Vietnamese, yeah, they're highly collectible because of how rare they are. Now, the Chinese and the Russians, they were just super cheap back in the day. So you could buy wine anywhere between $50 to $100, depending on where you lived back in like the 90s and stuff. So people were buying them up and just taking them out for fun shooters because the ammo was dirt cheap and the rifle was dirt cheap. But now there you got a bunch of people that bubbled the Chinese and the Russians. So because of that and just inflation altogether, the prices on SKSs are going up because you can't get new ones. There's no new ones coming into the country because I don't think anybody makes new ones anymore. Maybe the Chinese, but you can't import them into the United States anyway because of the China import ban that George H.W. Bush put into effect. So that limited how many of them came into the country. And then when you got, like I said, when you got the idiots that are bubbaing the rifles and putting on stupid like rails on the dust covers and that and whatnot, original SKSs are becoming rarer and rarer. So that's going to increase the market value on them. So even the Chinese and the Russian ones now are becoming more collectible because there's not as many of them. You're seeing the same thing with the Mosins too.
Yeah, so they're not really great rifles. It's just there's nostalgia and
Well, they're
value and
reliable.
collectability there.
They're reliable and they're battlefield accurate. See that?
Okay, so with the zombies are coming down the street, and I got my AR right there and my SKS. Am I sitting here scratching my head on which one to take?
Depending on what you prefer, yeah, maybe. Honestly,
AR, it holds 30 rounds.
SKS is really easy and quick to reload if you got stripper clips.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I did take into consideration. I guess I should have mentioned the magazine count. But so what is it? What is SKS usually like an 8 round magazine or something like
10.
that? 5 round
It's a
magazine.
10.
It's
It's
a
a 10,
10.
10 round
Okay,
internal magazine.
uh,
Is it? Yeah,
zombies
yeah.
are coming down the street. I've only got 10 rounds, and I got an AR and my other jammy. But I can only take one of them. Which one am I
But
grabbing?
you can also get up to 30 round magazines for an SKS. So
Okay,
there's
now I
that
got
too.
30 rounds for my SKS. Which one am I taking? All things are equal. When I open the door to go get the zombies, which gun am I taking?
Which one do you had the most ammo for?
Yeah, which one you got the most ammo
They're
for? Which
both the
one do you
same.
shoot better?
Exactly. Everything exactly the same, except for the
One
fact they're
in
two
each hand
different
to let
guns.
shit fly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
One
night
in each
strike,
hand.
and I'm not strong enough in the upper body to carry 2 guns at one time. Just
Well,
kidding, night
start with
strike.
the SKS because that's going to be a little bit heavier. You can sling the AR on your back.
hmm
When you run out of ammo, just swing that AR around.
I'm going to share another picture because I just found one where it's got the Albanian next to the Russian, so you get a really good comparison to the two. So now you see what I was talking about with the magazine here. See how the Russian magazine is, and then the Albanian. So that's
All in
one.
all, I like the Albanian one better in that picture.
Yeah, and then you got the Albanian stock and handguard go up farther. Yeah, that's why I said I like the looks of the Albanian one better. My, and it again, it's the rarer one because you see what I was talking about with the charging handle too on them. See how that one's like more flat, and this one's more like a knob. But I do
Okay.
like the wood on the Russian, the color of that wood on the Russian. Russians made always had that like pretty red color to their wood on the
Yeah,
SPS and the
that one's
AK.
just not. I'm not flattered by that one.
But the Albanian, the way that the handguard stuff, I always like the looks of that better.
MK Joe, you got to delete that because you can't ask questions like that around these guys because they won't ever give you a straight answer.
About what?
Is there a tactical advantage between the SKS versus the AR? And you guys are going to go on your 20-minute spiel about well, it all depends on what you're doing with it, and if Mars is lined up with Jupiter, and did you get your third breakfast this morning?
Is there a tactical advantage between the two? You know, that honestly is a hard question to answer. I mean, you got to look at what the strengths and weaknesses of each rifle are. With
Or
an
you could just,
internal,
you could just make an off the cuff decision and be like, probably the SKS. It's a little bit more durable. You can get around better and easier to reload.
well, it's not necessarily easier to reload. They're
Well, I
just,
don't think it is either. I was just making that stuff up.
but you don't have to worry about so much about damaging your magazine as much as you would with with the AR, because this is a steel magazine that the only bit of it that sticks out is right down here. The rest of it's mostly internal, so it's going to be protected by the rifle more.
Yeah, but that's not your 30 round magazine.
No, but it's again, it's a quick reload.
So is the AR,
Yeah, I know.
and I use only steel magazines.
Not everybody does. You've got people that have the Magpul magazines and other polymer magazines.
I guess
So
pacifist says there's a more powerful round, and I'm assuming the
yeah,
7.62 is the more powerful
yeah.
round.
So this one's 7.62 by 39. I was getting to that one. Um, but your AR might be a little bit more accurate. Reliability, I think, is a wash. The SKS is extremely reliable. I mean, it served very well in Vietnam for the Vietnamese. You're not going to convert an SKS to full auto in that situation, where you know you
Yeah,
could with the AR in the apocalyptic situation. So that
well,
you may think of that as being maybe a tactical advantage, even though how often are you going to be using it in full auto anyway? So what is it really worth it to even do the conversion?
let's look at this. Let's look at this. apocalyptic thing, because if we had people who knew how to fight wars, Vietnam versus the United States would have been apocalyptic for the Vietnamese. Like, if our goal was go in there, clean house, move them out, be done with them, anything gets in your way, you smash it, and then let's post our flags and let these people build their country and let's get out of here. Would that rifle have been as good for the Vietnamese if we'd have just steamrolled right over top of them like we should have?
Well, we didn't fight it that way. They fought an infantry versus infantry, and the SKS was able to handle its own alongside the AK. So,
Well, yeah,
and it,
that's what I'm saying. We had
yeah,
bad military judgment and a whole bunch of tactics that
well,
were nonsense.
bad political judgment because you have the politicians in Washington trying to run the war from Washington, and you can't do that.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, that would have to be number one, of course. So I definitely agree with that.
But there is one tactical advantage that the SKS has that the AR doesn't. Can you tell what it is from looking at these two?
I can beat the crap out of you with an SKS and not break. My AR is probably going to break if I slug you with it a few times.
Okay, well, two of them, but there's one real specific thing in particular that I'm looking at that both of them have.
What, both the AR and the SKS?
No, both these SKSs that the AR doesn't.
I mean, I got a bayonet lug on my AR. I
Yes, but
got
it's not integral. The bayonet is not integral to the AR.
so you mean a bayonet on the end of my AR is always sticking out, where the SKS you can turn it in
You can
and
fold it
hide.
up, yeah,
Okay,
and you don't have to worry about losing it.
yeah, I can give it that. That makes a lot of sense.
And there's another advantage that the SKS has that you really can't see in this picture. You can see part of it in both of these because you got the cleaning rod. But another advantage of the SKS, its cleaning kit is in the buttstock. So you don't have to carry a separate cleaning kit for it like you would with the AR.
Yeah, but
So
you
it
could.
cuts
I
down on how
mean,
much gear you have to carry.
if you got a pistol grip, you can get a hollow pistol grip and stuff a cleaning kit inside the pistol grip.
Yeah, but you're not going to get the cleaning rod.
You put a bore snake.
Bore snake's going to wear out.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Cleaning rod's gonna get lost.
No, because the cleaning rod snaps right into the rifle.
Cleaning rod's gonna shimmer in the moonlight, and the bad guy's gonna snipe you.
Yeah, no, because it's blued and dark.
That rod get bent all to hell.
Magneto's gonna be all magnetic and steal your cleaning rod in the middle of the night.
Zombie Magneto. Zombie Magneto's going to rip apart your AR-15 barrel too.
So it's from what we've discussed. I mean, Buck, if you had any more to add, we can do that. But so far, it's looking like the SKS might be just arching ahead of the AR.
Well, if you're out somewhere, you can probably find more parts for the AR. You can probably find them anywhere. A little hard to find parts for the SKS, I would
Yeah,
think.
yeah. But depending which SKS you have, you're not going to break very many parts on it. Like that trigger, if you've ever seen an SKS trigger group, those things are built very solid. If you break a spring on one of those, you're doing something.
You could probably do without a part or two on the AR. I don't know if you could take too many parts off an SKS and it still work.
There aren't very many parts. That's the thing. The SKS is very simple.
Yeah.
The
So
the one
yeah.
the one main problem you would really have to worry about losing, and that's only if you turn the takedown lever up here too far, is the little rod that goes from your gas piston then through here. Gas piston hits the little rod that's in here, and that little rod in here is what acts on the bolt carrier and pushes the bolt carrier back. That little rod and that spring, if you're not careful, those will come shooting out of there. That's the one issue that you would have that could cause a major problem with the SKS.
I didn't see pacifist said you could just light the SKS on fire if you need to stay warm too.
Yeah, it's wood.
You light one of them plastic ARs on fire, you're gonna die of some type of poisonous gas over the night.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy a Let's Go Brandon lower, then the FBI is coming to your house.
And to be perfectly honest, you wouldn't be poorly served by having either rifle. So I mean, both of them are gonna be better than just a pointy stick.
All right, but what about recoil? I don't think as far as I understand, I've never shot an SKS.
Have you shot an
So
AK?
yeah.
It doesn't recoil any more than what an AK does.
Hmm.
In fact, it might actually recoil less because it's got that longer barrel, which is going to eat up some of that recoil. That's a 20-inch barrel on those.
How long is it overall?
I'm
So
not
like
sure.
it's under 4 feet.
So you got a 20-inch barrel that goes from here to here.
It's probably about 35, 40 inches.
It's somewhere in there, would be my guess, yeah.
And I mean, obviously, you got a collapsible stock on an AR. If you have a collapsible stock on your AR,
Well, you can always put a collapsible stock on one of these. If you decide you want to take the original wood on there, you can put a polymer collapsible stock on there too.
yeah.
My son's has a collapsible AR style stock on his. But then you're going to lose your cleaning kit in the butt. Well, you just put it in your pocket, I guess. But there are possibilities. Like I said, you can put bigger magazines on them. So that even there, that takes away the AR's magazine advantage. So, I mean, it's if you're talking SKS, AK, or AR-15, I'm probably taking the AK over the out of those three, and then second would probably be the AR-15 and the SKS, simply because the AR-15, the ammo is what you're gonna find more 5.56 in the U.S. In fact, I might take the AR over the AK for that same reason.
If you
Not
had
because of parts availability, not because either one of the rifles are superior, not because one round's more powerful than the other, but because one round is going to be more available than the other. Especially with Joe Biden's ban on and bringing in any more Russian ammunition.
if you had to lay down suppression fire and dump 200 rounds in full auto, which gun's gonna allow you the most comfortability laying down that suppression fire?
I have the AK, the AR, and the SKS. Neither of them.
No, I mean,
They're not
I know
designed
that
for that.
doesn't. I know that really doesn't happen too much, but I'm talking about this is like a movie, and you're gonna have to stand up and up against the wall and take cover and just pull the trigger because you're getting the good guy out to the helicopter.
AK.
So you're gonna have the most stability, the best range at keeping it in the general area because I know you're not gonna be super accurate just laying down full
No,
auto.
no, not for those reasons. The AK is going to be the most reliable doing it. If you have an AR-15 or an M4 or M16 jam, it's because you're firing it in full auto too much. They're not designed for that. The AK is not either, but the AK is more capable of it.
The AK is not as tight.
Right? It's not as tight tolerance, and it doesn't get as quite as dirty because of the gas system on it compared to the AR-15. Remember, the AR-15, it's a semi blowback system. It's not a direct impingement. A lot of people think everybody calls it a direct impingement. It's really not. It's a hybrid direct gas impingement and piston system. If there were a true direct impingement, when the gas blew back the gas tube here, say this is an AR-15, just for sake of argument. and here's your AR-15 gas tube. The gas would come back. You wouldn't have a bolt carrier. You would just have the bolt right there that the gas from the tube would enact on. But when the on the AR-15, the gas comes back, hits the gas key, is redirected downwards, and hits the bolt carrier group, which is actually the piston of the rifle. So it's not a true direct impingement. If you had the Egyptian Hakim, which looks similar to this actually, the Albanian one, your direct gas impingement comes right back, hits the bolt. You don't have a bolt carrier, you just have a big bolt right here that the gas then pushes back. So that's where a lot of people go wrong with the AR-15. They think it's an actual direct gas impingement rifle, and it's not. And that system causes that under full auto, it gets dirty real quick because all the gas coming back and everything. And that can cause the AR-15 to jam because, again, it's not designed to be laying down full-time, full auto fire. It's not designed to be using the 3-round burst on the more modern ones constantly. Those are only on there for emergency use. That's why you see the units getting it. When you have a fire team, you have 6 or 7 riflemen, and then you have a saw gunner. The saw gunner's job is to lay down the suppressive fire, not the guys with the M16s and the M4s.
Well, yeah, that's why I was mentioning. It's fantasy world, not actual military tactics.
Right.
But
yeah, I got that. I was just explaining why you don't do it.
I guess we lost Buck. If you're still listening, Buck, and thanks for joining us. Hopefully you can come back.
Yeah, he's out there, and I guess got to add him back in.
There he goes. All right, MK Joe's got a question for everybody. I guess passive, if you're still out there, you can answer it too. He says, all things being equal, the SHTF gotta walk a family 10 miles. You got one rifle and one handgun only. Which one are you picking? And it's not a fantasy gun. It's either one that you have in your collection or one that you're considering adding to your collection. So you can't say like the minigun from Predator.
The pistol is going to be the one with the fancy recoil system that I showed you when you were here. The HK-USP. As for rifle, well, I don't currently have an AK, so I'm going to grab my AR.
How about you, Buck? You back with us?
Yeah, I'm going to grab my AR rifle, and I'm going to say my P320.
Not a bad choice. I would say shotgun, but if I'm walking with my family and not by myself, even if I'm walking by myself, I want to keep you as far away as I can. And you really are limited with a shotgun to do that. So I'm probably going to go with the AR. I mean, I've got other rifles that I'm more accurate with at long distances, but that's also from a bipod and a shooting bench. I think I'd be more accurate with my AR, standing on my feet, maybe doing some running.
Yeah,
And what's up?
No, go ahead. I'll wait.
And the Shadow 2. Shadow 2 is super accurate. It's heavy enough, like I said in the video I made. If I got too close to you, I could smash you across the face with it, and you're going to go down. 17 rounds. I got 3 magazines.
Well, I was going to say, when it comes to shotgun, that's where the beauty of the Shockwave comes in, the size of it. You could carry that, tighten up your sling, carry that slung across your back, and it won't interfere with your rifle at all. And then if you need it for hunting small game or something, it's there.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a survival gun, like if you're out in the woods or you're on your own for a while, that's a pretty good choice. But if it's bedlam, you want to keep people more than shotgun distance away from you.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. You would carry the Shockwave. You could carry in addition to your rifle and handgun, and it's not going to take much.
He said one.
You get to read the question.
He didn't specify shotgun.
No, he said one rifle and one handgun.
Yeah, I know.
We understand in the context of what he's saying that one rifle is a shotgun.
Yeah, but we already answered that question. I'm throwing in a shotgun as well. You got to now we're going to throw in a shotgun because a shotgun
Did you
and
get
it's in his
permission?
thing.
Did you get permission from
It's my
MKJ?
show. I don't have
That's his
to.
question. That's his
And
question.
we answered his question. I'm
You have
modifying
to
it
start
now
your
after
own
we
thing.
answered
You
it.
can't say, in addition, you have to say, now my whole new thing here.
Well,
So you get permission.
I can more to help or I want no hush. But with the beauty of the shockwave is it's small enough where you could have this slung on your back, tighten that sling up. It's not going to get in the way of you using your rifle or handgun. And if you need it for a hunting purpose, you have it, or
The
a breaching
870
purpose.
Express. The 870
Well, if
Express.
that's the case, I'm gonna take my 300 blackout pistol.
That you'd
Nobody
have to
said you
leave the
couldn't.
320 behind.
You could have used that as the rifle.
It's
Shit.
not, because a pistol is not right.
No, man, let's be honest. If shit hits the fan situation, how many of us are keeping our pistol braces on our AR pistols?
We understand that there's nothing honest about the law.
The Mayor's League. Mayor's League would be an interesting choice for a handgun. I'll give you that.
Obnoxious. Came in with the clock.
I don't own a Glock, so
Yeah, I'm sure.
yeah, it was our what we own. I don't own a Glock, so I can't take a Glock.
When the bad guys are far away and I put them to sleep from a distance, as I walk by them, I'll pick their Glocks up off them and donate them to you, obnoxious. Whenever we cross each other's paths, I'll be like, look, man, I got this giant bag full of Glocks for you.
Well, you might need a boat anchor at some point, Kingpin.
I ain't going out on the water, man. That's crazy.
The zombies aren't going to be able to get you if you're out in the middle of a lake.
Yeah, but I don't know
They
how to
can't
sail.
swim.
I can swim pretty good, but I don't know how to sail.
You can't row a canoe.
Yeah, but you can't row a canoe. You can't realistically row a canoe out into the ocean and expect to
I
survive.
said lake, man. I said lake. I didn't say ocean.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, where am I going to find the lake at around here? I'd have to go out
Um,
to the bay or one of the. I do have a reservoir right close by, which I could go out into.
well, there you go. I mean, there's lakes around. You just got to drive a little bit to get to them.
Oh yeah, absolutely obnoxious. If we're talking about rational plans and thoughts, the Glock would probably be the best all-around pistol to have with you because there's so many of them out there and compatible magazines and parts and stuff like that.
Well, the mag and ammo thing was my rationale for grabbing my AR-15.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, I can't grab a Glock if I don't own one.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You take them off the first person that you finish. The shotgun for me, like I said, would be my 870. It's this. I've got the Mossberg 500, but that's a little bit big and cumbersome. It shoots well. It's light. Excuse me. But the 870 is it's heavier, but it's shorter.
Yeah, the only shotgun I got is that Stevens 320, but that's the only one I got besides that double barrel.
Yeah, the only other shotgun I got besides the Shockwave right now is the Pepper 12, and that thing's heavy. That thing weighs a good 9-10 pounds when fully loaded.
All right. You wake up tomorrow and you're out in the middle of the apocalypse and it's hunting time. There's no bad guys around, so you don't have to watch your back for anything like that. You're just strictly going to go out, whether it be in the middle of the city, wherever you live, in the woods and mountains. What animal are you going to try to hunt first? with the current skill that you have now. So you can't say that you're going to go hunt an elephant because you don't know how to kill an elephant. You don't know how to butcher an elephant. And there's no elephants in America.
Rabbit or squirrels.
Yeah, whatever you can find, basically.
Well, I mean, you're going to go specifically looking for something. So if you said you're going to go look for a bear, then you're going to willingly walk past a couple of deer and a whole bunch of squirrels and chipmunks
Well,
and
in
cows.
that situation, you're hunting whatever. You're not looking for one specific animal.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Uh,
asking you to just make up and play along with my
I
fantasy.
know, but
And you're
in that
ruining it
fantasy world,
always.
the type of animal isn't going to matter. Just that it's edible.
No, that's the best part about it being a fantasy world is because anything that you want to matter can. And I want in this fantasy world, because this is my world and I'm going to have it the way I want it, you have to go for a specific animal. Thank you.
Nobody said we're hauling a 6 or 7 round rifle. Obnoxious. We all said like an AR-15.
Yeah, I couldn't handle it. If I had like a 300 Win Mag or one of those 708s or whatever they're called, like the big bore stuff, after I pull the first trigger, I'm just going to be like, kill me, zombies. That hurt too much.
That was in addition to the rifle for use as a hunting weapon, not for use on the zombies.
Technically, that
That's what,
was rich. That was rich
and that was with the
confiscating
shockwave. And
MJO's question and abusing it and altering it to become
no,
something
the
that it wasn't.
shockwave, and the shockwave is small enough where you can actually carry that on the side of your pack, and it's not going to take up any room.
Well, yeah, so is the MMP shield, but that's more than one.
Yeah, well, you're not going to go hunting birds or small game with an M&P shield.
I mean, if that's all you got.
You're not going to be very
It
successful.
is a 22 long rifle.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you got a chance to bring a Marlin Model 60 with you, then that's never a bad idea. Yeah, right, exactly. Obnoxious. Rich was wrong again.
No, you're just not thinking. You got to
I
think.
was thinking
You
quite
got now.
clearly
You got to
about
think
stealing
survival too, not just
MJO's
tactical.
question.
In a zombie apocalypse, you're going to need more than just your tactical rifle and your tactical pistol. You're going to need something that you can actually hunt with, and you're not going to be if you're trying to get a goose or turkey or something. Rifle is not the weapon of choice. You're going to want a shotgun for that.
Well, my thought is would you go for like your first thought is I'm going to go get a deer because there's a lot of meat there, or are you just going to go for the rabbit because it's a lot easier to shoot a rabbit and with one round just about anywhere in the body and be able to track it down within a few steps. Sometimes deer run off after you plug them through the heart. And bear, is a 5.56 going to kill 500-pound
No, you're
brown bear?
probably pissing them off.
Why don't people eat zombies? Do you
Because
turn
it's
into a zombie if
contaminated.
you eat a zombie?
Yeah, then haven't you seen the zombie movies where people just get the zombie blood in their mouth and it turned them into a zombie? It's contaminated.
I watched the Night of the Living Dead original movie, and I think the second original movie. And
Now,
then
if you
the
let them
next
soak
one
in
I
salt
watched,
water, would that draw all the blood out?
see, problem solved.
Well,
I
no, because
watched
you
the
got to remember,
28
not all the zombies were originally dead. Some of the zombies are actually the victims of the other zombies.
Why didn't zombies eat zombies?
Because they're only after the brains, man.
No.
First thing I'm gonna grab is a goddamn football helmet.
Right?
I think Obnoxious is still sticking to the anti-shotgun thing.
hmm He's just anti-shotgun. That's all it is.
I mean, shotguns are cool, but I'm not like super pro shotgun.
They have their place. and a small one like this would be a good survival tool in that kind of situation.
Isn't G Web's like super anti shotgun?
Hmm. For home defense.
Just yeah. Okay.
All right, Nick, let's add to Kingpin's question. If you go ahead and take that AR-15, would you have a red dot on it, or would you want a scope?
For me, I'd go scope.
What about you, Rich?
Well, I can't use a red dot because of my eyesight, so it would have to be some kind of scope, whether it be a prism scope or a LPO or something like that.
No, I mean I could say if we're in a survival situation, I prefer a scope. If we're in the zombie situation where I gotta aim at a lot of different targets at a short amount of time, I'd probably rather have the red dot. Because all I gotta do is to see the dot. There it is back. There it is back. There it is back. And it's not exactly perfectly accurate, but if I'm hunting like a deer and I gotta make the shot count, I'd probably want like a scope.
Why do I think I'm going to get with the shockwave? Let's see, you got rabbit, squirrel, birds at certain distances. You can even get slugs and take down a deer with it. There's lots of game you can take with a shockwave.
What is the shockwave like? Basically, like a sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah, you saw mine.
I know. I'm just saying, like the lamest way to classify it would be like a sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah, and you can get them fitted where they take chokes and stuff, which will tighten up your group. And there's different types of shells that'll tighten up your groups and stuff. So shockwave would be a viable short shotgun if necessary. And in that situation, you're going to want every tool at your disposal. I'm not throwing away my shockwave just because somebody else might think it's a cumbersome thing to have. It's a useful tool, and I'm going to have it.
Yeah, I mean, if you could sling it over your back, and then when it's time to open the door, it'd be pretty beneficial to have a nice shotgun to clear a room with.
I'm surprised nobody said anything about a crossbow or a compound bow. That's pretty quiet in the woods.
Yeah, for hunting, I think it would be a pretty good deal. Plus, arrows can be made if you really, really get down to it. The problem with a bow and arrow in like a zombie apocalypse is unless you're really, really, really good, it takes a lot more time to fire off each round.
Daryl did
And
it.
how was that?
Daryl did it. He survived that zombie apocalypse.
Oh, is that the TV show guy?
Yeah.
Uh, and you gotta think, if you fire off 30 rounds, 30 arrows out of your quiver, you're probably going to be pretty fatigued after that too.
Sure, I'll be done after the first or second one. I ain't nowhere near like Robin Hood.
I'm not just saying letting that one go.
Now, well, you know what? When he's starving because he can't shoot a turkey with his AR-15, I'll be sitting there pretty with a turkey roasting over the fire.
Why can't you shoot a turkey with an AR?
It's not easy to do. Rifles are you don't want to hunt turkey with a rifle.
Well,
You
no,
want
you
for
don't.
turkey,
But
you want shotgun because of the chest plate on a wild turkey is extremely tough. They're not the easiest things to kill with a rifle. That's why you use the turkey loads on them and whatnot.
what is a turkey load? Like a pumped up type of bird shot?
Yeah, they're usually 3 to 3.5 inch long, depending on the chambering of your shotgun, which one you would get.
I'll stick to them 2 and 3/4 shells. Those 3-inch shells are too much.
And that'd be a lot of weight to carry around.
Not really. You for the shotguns, you only need a couple of boxes of ammo compared to magazines for the AR-15 and whatnot. Again, you get a box of 20 gauge. It's not that heavy. See, that's where he's going wrong. Oh, it's all heavy. It's not heavy.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, 10 rounds, 10, 12 gauge, 2 3/4 shells are definitely lighter than 10 9mm rounds.
Yeah, you're not going to need as much shotgun ammo as what you're going to need for your rifle or your handgun. Maybe not even as much as you need for your handgun. You only need enough to do your hunting every so often, and you can always find more somewhere. You're not going to be. It's not like you're carrying an ammo can full of shotgun ammo.
I mean, it's definitely more convenient to have rifle or pistol because you can have multiple magazines already loaded. With I mean, most people, we're not really talking about semi-automatic shotguns. We're talking about like pump action and different types of shotguns. You can only fill the chamber up so much, and then you're just going to have a pocket full of shells.
Well, that's where your side saddle comes in.
Yeah, but how many? My side saddle holds like 5 rounds.
This one, the one I have on my Shockwave, holds 6. That's enough to completely reload it.
That might be which one this one.
Yeah, I think my shotgun holds 6 rounds, I think. But I ain't taking that. It's too damn heavy.
That's why I said the Shockwave. The Shockwave is not very heavy. It's not very big. It's half the size of most of your hunting shotguns. It's not a bad tool to have in that situation. And I will also have a rifle, so I could also eat a deer too, and I could shoot a deer with the Shockwave. So yeah, and so's mine. What's your point? I think all of our ARs would hold 30 rounds. That's not an
Oh, I
argument.
guess obnoxious. You missed the part where Rich stole MK Joe's question and modified it to become his new question. So it was now we have an extra weapon instead of just one rifle and just one handgun. Got a little bit of authoritarianism going on in the chat
See,
here.
Obnoxious still doesn't get it. He doesn't get to all three of us also have ARs because we also were taking some variation of an AR-15. He's just fixated on the fact that I said I'm also taking my Shockwave.
For hunting, if I'm out somewhere for hunting, I think I would take that Ruger takedown model 22 long rifle. You can pack that in your backpack. Don't worry about it.
And we forgot we only had to travel 10 miles.
Oh yeah. I'll wait till we get to Taco Bell, get something to eat.
Taco Bell, goddamn. Taco Bell's what made the zombies in the first place, man.
God damn sure I ain't going to McDonald's. I just have to take my chances.
Well, one thing that we all got to be aware of is our first thought, our 10 miles is going to be this direction. You have to cancel that because the 10 miles in that direction, I mean, you're going to run into a Walmart in that 10 miles. And you definitely don't want
Yeah,
to go
mine's 3 miles away.
Go
The
the other
Walmart's
direction
gonna be
that
full
you
of
originally
zombies,
think
man.
of.
That Walmart's gonna be full of zombies. That's the last place you want to go.
Uh-oh, guys. I went to a Walmart for the first time like 2 or 3 weeks ago in, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 years. And man, I think all the zombies were already in there.
That's a possibility.
I could smell the Biden supporters in there.
So I wonder when Walmart's coming out with them "Let's Go Brandon" T-shirts.
I don't know, but NASCAR's throwing a fit because people are saying it. I don't know if you guys saw that one.
No, I haven't seen that.
Do you see any of the propaganda stunts that the White House has been trying to pull with the tranny black dude named Brandon? And I don't know if the kid had cancer or leukemia or sickle cell, or he was some type of special needs kid that was in some type of hospital, and his name was Brandon. And they kept pumping out these commercials to get people to stop saying it.
Oh, good lord.
Oh shit!
I might
Everybody,
not
what
be
that
so
is.
surprised.
Especially when it got that little hashtag behind it. Might have to give me one of them shirts. Wear it down in Tulsa.
There's no shortage of them. Pretty much everyone on YouTube selling one right now.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
I wish, like, I asked everybody to send me the video, and Scotsman sent me one, Patriot sent me one, and Rich sent me one, but nobody else did. And that was like a week or two before it got super hot. And then now it's so, yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. So it's, even if people send me a video, I'm not going to do the thing. I'm not going to do the video.
Shit, it's been a while since I made a video.
Yeah, I'm right there with you now. I enjoyed the Let's Go Brandon, but I prefer Fuck Joe Biden. And I mean, I'm not that big for profanity on the internet, but I'd rather go back to Fuck Joe Biden.
It's
Well, if
all
you're not going to
over for
get the
you
video,
humans. But before I sink my Decepticons on you to destroy you all, I just want to say one thing. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
It's still pretty funny. And actually, I might just have to call Susan and say that you just made a direct threat, because there was a gun in that video.
uh-huh. That's
Yeah,
just fuck Joe
that's the
Biden.
problem. Like Obnoxious was saying, they think that we're afraid to say that it's F Joe Biden. No,
Yeah,
it's just we know how to meme, and that was really
uh-huh.
funny. That I still think that the girl may have possibly been in on it a little bit. Not to say it was planned or nothing, but when she says you can hear the crowd chanting "Let's go, Brandon" or whatever, and she paused so everybody could clearly hear the F Joe Biden, and she goes, "Let's go, Brandon." I don't. Obviously, she was trying to cover up, but she did pause there and made it quite clear for the camera to pick it up.
Yeah, I've seen that. Well, I think they took that one down, didn't they?
I don't
I don't know. I mean, it's still all over the internet. NASCAR might have took it off their official site, but
know. I won't be the least bit surprised. What's NASCAR going to do? Sue everybody who says it or some shit? Lord. Remember when NASCAR was a bunch of hillbillies driving around a racetrack? Now it's a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, drinking moonshine.
Yeah, Ozark Yeoman put out a video a couple days ago talking about the exact topic. He did it was pretty good the way he covered it, but NASCAR should have went bankrupt 5 seconds after they banned the rebel flag from their events. As soon as the person put the first drop of ink to sign the contract to say that you couldn't bring the rebel flag into their events anymore, should have been continuous right over to the bankruptcy papers.
Yeah, pretty much so.
That's how you told everybody. Everybody told me I was an idiot and made fun of sports ball, Hall of Sports Balls. It's funny, gross. And yeah, I know it's funny. And it's funny when, people make fun of me for doing it. So I'm not like an idiot like that or a prude or anything. But the point that I'm making is these people can't stand you. They hate your guts. And they should tell you right to your face that they hate you. And then you bought their tickets again. And you canceled all your plans so you could sit down on sport ball day and watch the big game. Yeah, I just don't get it, man. NFL shouldn't exist anymore. But, you know, a whole bunch of people ran out and burnt their NFL jerseys, and then the very next season re-upped their season tickets and their NFL pass and their NHL center, whatever packages that they sell on cable and all that.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to start wrapping this up. Been going for an hour and a half. I don't want to do another 2.5 hour show this weekend.
Oh, come
I'm
on.
beat. Oh no, man, I'm beat. And doing stuff at the house today. I want to go to bed. I'm beat. The hell, I'm back. I can't believe I made it this long. To be perfectly honest with you. So, if Obnoxious went into bed trying to figure out the shotgun thing, not realizing we all had rifles, I probably would have fell asleep. But anyway, Kingpin, you got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Now big ups to DM Foss. He's a great dude. Thank you for the icons and the lead into the show and all that. MK Joe and Obnoxious, thanks for hanging out with us. And everybody have a good night. Same to you, Buck.
What about you, Buck?
Just want to thank everybody for joining. Thanks for the invite, and I'll see y'all next time in Tulsa next week.
Every second matters pictures. Obnoxious. Every second matters pictures, Buck.
We got it.
Don't forget the gun channels patch photo. You know, gun channels may not be what it was. Still got to get that patch sticker. Patch picture.
Yeah, we got them coming too. Matter of fact, I got a few of them hanging on my wall. I'm gonna take.
As far as I'm concerned, Gun Channels was always more than just the website.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I still refer to us as the Gun Channels people.
Yep. And on that note, we will bid you adieu for this week. Well, for this show anyway. And tune in tomorrow night for This Week Unloaded at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And we'll see you then. And maybe on Gary's show tomorrow, depending on what's going on here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to be on Gary's show tomorrow morning or not. But I might pop in for a couple minutes or something if I can. So don't see you then. See you tomorrow night. Have a good night, folks.
Bye, everybody.